All right. Sweet. Well, let's start it off. So, hello everybody. My name is Zak Sloan, and with me today is
Anne Luna.
Anne. Who the hell are you?
Well, you happen to have known me for, nearly as long as anybody in my life. So
Yeah, we're like 25 years, right?
no, it's been like 28 years, I think.
Holy sh!
Yeah. So, as you know, I was a straight A student throughout high school. 3.9 GPA in college. Did well. I got a biology degree, and up until yesterday, I had been using that in an acceptable way by by teaching general biology at a community college. But during all of that time, also playing music, and so now being gently eased out of teaching and having a job that's easy to say, hey, this is what I do. Now I'm a full-time musician as of yesterday at 4:30.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat. Yesterday at 4:30 was the last day at my job, and my educational career is very similar to Anne. High school was fine, and then I went to college, got my degree in education. I actually was a teacher for a while, and then I went back to school, went to law school. I did not have a 3.9 GPA in law school.
That'd be
I would,
tough.
you know what? I think this is an aside, but the thing that teaching taught me was that grades don't really matter.
I agree with that.
Like you're very smart, and it's like even if you had made C's, nobody would be like, well, Anne is just of average intelligence. Like, you're like one of the more like the most intelligent people I know. So. But anyway, so I went to law school, practiced law for 5 years, and then yesterday I quit my job. Not like in a blaze of glory, like I'm out. I gave them notice and everything, but yesterday was my last day as a lawyer, and now I too am a full-time musician.
I love it. Yours was a little more blaze of glory than mine, I felt like. But anyway.
Well, anytime you're like, what's interesting, like, because anytime you're leaving law, and I bet you got some of this too, and they're like, oh, you got this biology degree, you're teaching. You're a scientist,
right?
I'm a lawyer, and people are like, I can't believe you would leave that. And you're like, yeah, but being a lawyer is not what I want to do,
right?
Right.
And like I say, from teaching, and you get something out of everything you do. You learn that grades don't matter, and you get to find out what really does matter. And consistently throughout my life, music has always mattered. So
yeah, and in fact, if we even jump back in time, you and I were good friends up until like I changed schools in middle school, and then we like reconnected our senior year in high school. Not over music though. Do you remember? You know what we connected at?
I do. Over county science fair, regional science fair. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And,
so
and who won? Who won, Anne Luna?
That was me. The biologist.
Damn it. Quit.
Which surprised me, but yeah. So yeah, not to say that I didn't like biology, that I didn't like my job, because I've always been good at that stuff too, but isn't what I want to invest that heavily in. But yes, we did. I'm trying to remember what your science fair project was over.
Mine, you know what, I'm still bitter about this, Anne. Just in case you didn't know, that was 16 years ago. I worked on a project where we figured out how to take dairy wastewater and purify it to the point where you could grow crops with it safely.
This is great. This is more practical than my project by far.
Because yours did something with like effective soap, right?
Yeah, it was making soap and measuring, different qualities based on the different oils that you used and saponification values, and yeah.
See, this is and for anybody who doesn't know Anne and I, the difference between Anne and I at this juncture is that what was the word you said? Saponification?
Saponification.
Yeah. She did that. I was collecting shit water out of dairies and cleaning it.
Really, it was just my hippie tendencies of I want to make my own soap.
Which you did. Do you still make your own soap?
I do still make soap.
Yep, dirty hippie. And so after high school, then I don't think we actually ever communicated where we were going to go to college.
We didn't.
And I remember, and I was walking through the cafeteria one day, and I'm like, "Is that Anne Luna?" And there we were at South Plains.
Yeah, like
South Plains
first
College.
week, if not first day of school. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend.
And we both, are there in the commercial music program.
And yeah, well, I think actually I was an undeclared major until I had enough credit hours that I had to declare major. And then, because I did a biology degree there too, and the commercial music thing, I guess trying to look legit or something. And
actually, can we talk about that? Because I had that on my list of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
When I was at the commercial music program, I never finished it. I dropped out and went into education. But the reason I did that is because I was like, I had this idea that you should always have this backup plan.
Right.
And that,
we're always taught that,
Yeah. And I don't think it was like anybody was being malicious. I think it's people care about you and stuff like that.
They do. And it's their own fears and good intentions.
Yeah. People.
Yeah.
Nobody wants you to starve, and so you have this backup plan. So I stopped commercial music. I did just education.
Mm-hmm.
But you actually finished your music degree.
I did, which is funny because I had dropped out of college to go tour with April Virch for my last semester of college. And then,
I forgot about that.
That didn't work out. And so after I was, fired from this job. And
you were like 20.
And it had all this support. I did, because I wasn't old enough to be on a rental car thing, because I know that's actually probably the real issue why I got fired. Oh man, she can't drive a rental car. No, anyway. So yeah, I got fired from that and kind of had part of a semester off in which everybody was so proud of me that I'd done this, but I wanted to go back and finish this degree because I didn't know what else to do. And so yeah, I went back and finished the commercial music degree, which was a good thing. Just, I guess because I needed to prove to myself that I could finish that. And there's other classes that I wanted to take, that last semester too.
Right.
And just kind of getting clarity on what I wanted to do. But yeah, on just kind of reflecting on the use of that is all the connections you make. Like I say, it didn't matter so much that I finished the degree or that I made good grades, but those are the people that I still keep in touch with and that help get me gigs. And, now I go and teach at Camp Bluegrass at South Plains College. And
And for people who don't know, South Plains College is in the thriving metropolis of Levelland, Texas.
That is correct.
Which is outside of Lubbock. Which Lubbock is what, 200,000, 250,000 people?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's this really small musical community where I've met some of the best players I've ever heard. The talent is ridiculous there. I wish I would have finished there just for two reasons. One, the connections that you brought up, but two, being pushed. Like I remember sitting in a room the first week I was there with this dude named Jed Hughes, who he started playing guitar, and I was like, oh damn, I have to quit. I'm never gonna be that good. And then there were a handful of players who were like that caliber there, and it was just, it made me so much better because I didn't want to be embarrassed.
There's that, and there's all this support there, you know? And maybe partially because it is in Loveland, you can really focus on things because playing music's the main thing there is to do there,
Yeah. I mean, we had a friend come from like Jerusalem to study banjo.
Yes, we did.
Literally around the world to come play
from
banjo.
Sweden,
we had some Swedish friends. That's right. I remember there were some people I didn't know well, but were from I forget, somewhere in South America. Like people came from all over the world.
And this summer at Camp Bluegrass, there was people from South America and from Europe too. Yeah. Anyway, so it still just attracts international students. It's pretty amazing.
It's a great school, and I really enjoyed it. Like of all my rando education, I wish I would have got that degree.
Well,
I should have finished that.
Go back and do that.
I could. I won't, but I could.
You could actually, they'd probably just want to hire you to teach there.
I don't know, man. Some of those, I bet there are 18-year-olds rolling into that school who are better at their instrument than I am.
Well, and maybe that, I don't know if we want to move to this topic of this whole better than thing, because it's easy
Right.
to fall into that. And especially, I don't know if you're finding this as you've made this declaration, I'm a full-time musician, then you feel like, oh man, well, I better be good. I better be legit. And that's not the reason we started playing music. I didn't start playing music to be the best, or
Yeah, it was for girls.
well, not in my case. But
oh, okay.
So, you know, but no, and I mean, still the thing that keeps me in music is I love playing music and I love creating, and I always get that high off of doing that you don't get other ways. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or you're an expert. That feeling, I feel like, is the same, and it makes your life more rich and expansive. And
right.
That's why I'm willing to do this. But it's so easy to fall into that. There's 18-year-olds, there's 6-year-olds that are better than I am, and they're making YouTube videos right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I recognize that with all of these layers that come up with saying this is what I'm doing now, that's going to be something I'm going to have to consistently deal with. Yeah, of the not enoughness, which we face that in all aspects of life, but I think particularly as artists, I feel like we have a tendency, and that other people, well-meaning, you know, will point this out and be like, oh, well, what have you done? How many albums do you have? How many hits do you have? How many Facebook likes do you have? You know, as though there's ways to quantify your legitimacy.
It's actually, I'm glad you brought up the Facebook likes thing. There's a
because you can go like it right now.
Right, you can both go to, I'm at Zak Sloan Official on Facebook, and
I'm at Anne Luna Music.
Anne Luna Music. But, and that's cool, and we appreciate your likes, but I had this interesting revelation because as we sort of jump around a little bit and we're transitioning to music, people are like, well, have you ever had a hit? I'm like, nobody has hits anymore. Like, that's not really, like, in the pop world, like, Justin Bieber has hits, but neither one of us make pop music.
No, we're not pop artists.
You know, and last night I was driving home from playing out at this bar with my wife Annette, and we see this billboard. It's like Joe Bonamassa is playing Red Rocks. And I was like, do you know who that is? And she's like, no. And I was like, he's like one of the best blues guitar players alive, and he's going to sell out Red Rocks. And most people don't know who he is, but the people who do know who he is love him.
Yes.
And so people are like, do you have a hit? It's like, I don't think that's necessary anymore.
No, it's not. It's not.
You know, and you've made, I mean, you've been a musician, even if it wasn't full time. You've been touring and playing throughout your 20s and into your 30s.
Right.
You know, so how did that, like, you had that experience of building up and being in the bluegrass scene, which there ain't bluegrass hits. You know?
Like the closest you get is like "Man of Constant Sorrow" when George Clooney is, you know, lip syncing.
I didn't know if I was allowed to bring that up, actually.
You know, there's Deliverance and there's "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou."
Yeah.
I think that's as close as you have to bluegrass.
But like, even so,
on a large scale,
you know, but even so, your band, the Hard Road Trio, has done well for yourselves. You guys have you've put out some really good records, and you put on a great live show.
Well, thank you.
Well, because you're really good at your craft. But I mean, how did that factor into when you're like, okay, I have this slice of success with my band, and now I'm going to leave work completely and then move on? Did that help? Did that help or hurt you?
You know, no, it's been very helpful because, as with most things in my life, just getting together with Steve Smith and Chris Sanders, that's other members of the Hard Road Trio, was very serendipitous and just connections, you know, mutual friends. And yeah, the South Plains connection of Alan Mundy, really. And
yeah. If you don't know who Alan Mundy is, you're not a bluegrasser. If you're a bluegrasser, you're just like, oh shit, she knows Alan Mundy.
Alan's great. For those of you that don't know him, anyway. So getting to know them and getting to make music with them, and still, you know, after it's close to 9 years. I kind of lose track of time. But we've had more success as a band than I ever thought I would as a musician. You know, I've got to tour coast to coast and have some really cool gigs and make more money and more friends than I thought I would. And it reinforces that concept that many of the most important connections I've made in my life have been through music, and good opportunities and the things that really make me feel like, yeah, this is living. So recognizing that, yeah, with the Hard Road Trio, and we have had some success that we could point to for people who wanted to say, oh, well, have you had hits? And, you know, we've won several New Mexico Music Awards, and we've had, I think we got as high as number 2 on the Cashbox Roots chart whenever we were pushing for that. And so, you know, there's things you can point to like that, and that help confirm for me that depending on the success I'm wanting to have as a musician, there's already good momentum there, and good connections and knowing how to do that. So, yeah, so it hasn't been quite this complete jumping off into the unknown.
Well, what you just said, I think, is really important. The success you want to have.
Right.
Like
right.
what? So you and I quit our jobs. What is the success that you want to have? Like, what are you going for?
No, and that's beautiful because it's funny. I try to like weasel out of answering this question because I'm always worried that I'm going to give an answer that's not acceptable to someone else, and that's completely not the point of that.
Screw that.
You know, I would be doing something else. I would have kept my job or something if I was trying to please other people. I'm wanting to live a creative life, and so success for me is being able to do that, being able to invest in my craft, being able to develop as a songwriter and as a musician, and traveling with that. I recognize that that's a big part of what success is for me, is being able to travel and play music. And, you know, it's great if financially it supports me to do that, but I don't know if that's really my measure of success, because I don't want to put that pressure on my music. I mean, I kind of am right now since I don't have other income. Right. I also have, fortunately, a low cost of living right now, you know, living in eastern New Mexico, I guess. New
Mexico cheap.
You know. But yeah, for me, and kind of smaller measures of success for me that have happened that I didn't expect to happen is we've been at shows, and if somebody has requested a song that I wrote, that's huge to me. And if somebody I see is singing along to a song that I wrote, yeah, I didn't think that would happen, and that's awesome. And that, to me, those are measures of success for me personally. And I realize that as I develop, my measures of success will change, and that it's going to be different for everybody, you know.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about like the music business now, right? Is that there are very few musicians out there who are just like doing this one thing. You're a songwriter, you're a singer, you're a bass player, you know, you play, you're a soloist, you're in a band. You don't have to just have this one thing. You can enjoy all the parts of it.
Right. And most people that I know who are full-time musicians, they're very diversified in their craft, and they teach, they record, they, you know, they've got different things. They write instructional books.
Right.
And so, yeah, they're looking at different ways to be creative and to invest, and, you know, and to pay the bills along with that too.
Yeah.
All right, so what is success for you, Zach?
You know, I just want to be able to, really the way I'm framing it now is that I enjoy where I live. I live in Castle Rock, Colorado. And I want to be able to just say I'm making all of my money from things I actually truly enjoy doing. And that's all going to revolve around music. I could make money as a lawyer. I don't particularly like being a lawyer. I like writing songs. I like producing other people. I think that's something that I take a lot of joy in, is taking another artist and helping them craft their vision and making a record.
Right.
That's a lot of fun. But that's really all the label I put on it, is I just want to be able to be financially okay. I don't want to be rich. I want to be okay making music. And if that's teaching lessons, great. I will teach lessons.
Yeah.
If it's playing shows, I love to play live. I did it last night. I will continue doing it. write songs, produce, make my own albums, make albums for other people. You know, that's what I'm after, which I think leads us to an interesting question. How freaked out are you that you don't have a job?
I'm noticing that different layers of freaked outness are, started in heavier yesterday afternoon and this morning. Like there's this kind of low-level anxiety, like along with the excitement and the I'm free, but there's weird mind games that are already going on that bring up things that have nothing to do with music, that just looking at self-worth, and so there's other things that come up, like, the car I drive, the house I live in, the relationships I don't have, or that didn't work out in the past. That has nothing to do with it. But there's like this, oh man, you're not a legitimate, worthy person. And anyway, I don't know if you're finding any of this freaking out and weird things that your brain like brings up. I don't know. It was me.
No, I had the same thing. I haven't had like a freak out moment, but it's just like, man, I don't have like it. For me, the only thing that really is different is that on the one hand, there's this like, oh, I don't have steady income yet.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's very exciting to know that come Monday morning, because we're recording this on a Saturday.
Right.
Come Monday, if I want to, I have a couple of EPs I'm mixing for people right now. I can just spend 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours doing that.
Yeah.
Rather than going to a day job, working, coming back and trying to squeeze in 2 hours of probably not very productive time.
Right. I would like that teasing, like, oh man, this would be great if I could spend more time there. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's nice because on the one hand, there's the financial concern, but on the other hand, it's like, this is a really exciting time because then on Tuesday, I will work on a song I'm writing and recording, or I've written it and I'm recording, and then figuring out how to build a business because now, and you and I are like entrepreneurs at this point.
That's true. And, continue.
Yeah. So it's really just building, have time to build the business. Whereas, and I'm sure you know how it is, if you have other obligations outside of music,
right? You
turn down musical opportunities because you're too busy.
Right. Fly to the Concords.
It's like heartbreaking. It's like I've had people reach out and say, I want to record with you. And I go,
so I can't be a musician. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, wait, I have a job so I could be a musician, but now because of my job, I'm turning down musical opportunities.
I can't be a musician. Right.
It's like, at some point you just have to, at some point it was just like, I have to quit. I have to do something else and just do this. And if I fall on my face, that's fine. I've already made a record and put it out and dealt with like internet comments. So I feel like it'll be okay.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So yeah, I haven't had the big freak out moment like, oh crap, I don't have a job. It's been like this thing in the back of my mind. But,
yeah.
But also I think you and I have this in common as well, is that my family is so supportive.
Yes, completely.
Like I remember the day I put a notice at my job, and it was just like I called my parents and I called my aunt, and I of course talked to my wife, and I just told all of them, I was like, I think I'm ready to just quit my job and just go for music. And they were like, do it. Like, why not? This is clearly what you want to do. Go do it. There was not one person who I talked to who was like, that's a terrible idea. That's so reckless.
Right.
Damn it, Zach, you just bought a house and you're quitting your job. What are you doing?
Right. No, and I've had all in all very good support too. And but I do notice that my family's a little nervous for me, and my mom still lets me know when biology jobs are posted. And I know it's well intentioned, but I know that that part of it too, even though my parents are both musicians and both supportive, that they have their own concerns, and so it is, it's interesting how that goes. But if you look at their actions, my parents have always got me the nicest instruments that they could afford. They yeah, they're very supportive and promote my music and share my Facebook videos and yeah.
Yeah. And your parents, just because if we go all the way back, I bought my first guitar from your dad, right?
I didn't realize that, but yeah, I think you're right.
My first electric guitar, my first acoustic was like this cheap one, but when I was ready to play electric, my dad is an acoustic player. He's a folk guy. He had no idea on electric. And so it's like, we'll call Anne's dad, Ken Luna, who we've known for the past, at that point, it would have been 10 years or so.
Right.
And I remember he was like, oh, well, what kind of music do you like? And then somehow he knew somebody who had an Epiphone Les Paul, and that was my first guitar. And then, now to this day, I play a Les Paul, not that Les Paul, but a Gibson Les Paul now. And I really think your dad had a lot to do with that. Like,
I'm sure he did. That's what I was thinking too. Whenever I was playing saxophone in junior high, your dad went with my dad to help him pick out the right saxophone for me. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But you're right. Like, my parents in the past have always had that level of normal parental concern. But when I needed a guitar or an amp, they helped me out.
Yeah, well, and they weren't going to let you get something that was crappy.
Yeah.
And I recognize this has been such a blessing, but kind of this mixed blessing of growing up with really good instruments and knowing the difference between instruments that aren't set up well and really good ones. And, so there's a lot of music stores I walk into and walk right back out of because I'm like, oh, they don't have anything good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, but also you're to the point, and I think me too in my musical journey and career, that I don't have time to waste on that. Like, if I'm going to grab a new instrument or buy a new instrument, I'm not going to fight with it.
Exactly.
And I know, and for any guitar players who listen to this, I know Hendrix said he liked to fight with his guitar. I am not at that level. He was like so good that he might have needed the challenge. I don't want the challenge. I want to.
That's interesting too because I'm an upright bass player, and it's a very physical instrument, and I have a really nice bass that's set up well, but it's still, I have to fight with it more and be physically better in shape than if I was playing like an electric stick bass, that plays really smoothly. And because I've played some and they're nice, but I like a little bit of resistance.
So you're the Hendrix in this equation. That's good to know.
Maybe not completely, I don't want to completely fight with something, but yeah, so I can recognize a little bit of that. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, maybe there's all kinds of different instruments for whoever you are,
Yeah. I think that's a good point too, is that everybody's musical journey is sort of different. And so as we're moving into this time of like just doing music, it's going to be whatever we make it and whatever we decide.
And that, I think, brings me to whenever I have these little minor freakouts, what I'm really excited about is there's this huge opportunity right now to be very intentional about my music career and about my life, because that's what it's about, is how am I improving and creating my life. And so like you say, Monday morning comes around, I'm not going to be grading papers or updating syllabi. I'm practicing, I'm improving handouts for my bass workshops that I do. And there's work that's clearly laid out for me, but that's what I'm getting to assess. And I know how to do that now. And so that's really exciting. Yeah.
That is. I think that I'm actually really excited for you because I'm curious just to see what you do, because your skill set's very different than mine. And so it's just kind of fun to be on the sidelines like, is Anne going to wind up like on these huge bluegrass circuits, or is she going to go like more of like a country direction? I'm
curious too. For myself and for you, I'm very excited because you're doing all this recording work and working with a lot of other artists and working on your own solo projects, which are awesome.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because everything we do since like we were kids, it all sort of comes together, because like my last record was called Nowhere, New Mexico, because we grew up in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico.
It's true.
And yeah, For those of you who don't know, Anne lives in one of the smaller towns I've ever.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, where you're at is bigger than where I finished high school.
That's very true. That's very true. I've got a kind of thriving metropolis compared to.
Yeah, I went to House High School, and there was like 10 in my graduating class. It was tiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How big was your graduating class?
I was going to say, my graduating class was 8.
Holy crap!
But that's because it was this private Christian school that.
Oh, that's right.
So
that's right.
Larger population in Portales, but I went to the smaller school there. But there was 8 in my kindergarten class also in Floyd. So
Right. I think it's funny how those things, and as we've sort of seen our lives roll out, how those type of things happen and always seem to work out.
They do.
Like you're from a small town, you wind up in a school in a bigger town, but still found a small group of people. And
yeah.
We both wound up in a smaller junior college that happened to be this world-renowned music school.
Right, and that you attract the people into your life that you need and that resonate with you. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Anne. So before we sign off, let's let you put out. You already said your Facebook is Anne Luna Music.
That's right.
Right. And do you have Twitter or anything? So
I do have a Twitter account that is, I think, also Anne Luna Music. I'm trying to be consistent there.
That's a good thing.
So that's what I have at the moment. Website being developed, and other social media as I get savvy to that and figure out what I want to put out in the world. So
nice.
Stay tuned.
You can catch me at zaksloan.com, which is ZAKSLOAN.com, because I spell my name weird. Anne spells her name like a normal person.
The silent E on Anne.
Yeah, I think that's the normal way. But then you can also find me at Zak Sloan, Zak_Sloan at Twitter, and then Zak_Sloan on Instagram, and then Zak Sloan Official on Facebook. But Twitter is probably where I spend most of my time, as well as on zaksloan.com. So, yeah, you guys can catch us there. And the Hard Road Trio, you guys have your record out on iTunes and stuff, right? Or your 2 records? We do. Yeah, that's the trio, and then some other projects that all of us appear on. So, yeah, hardroadtrio.com. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/hardroadtrio. And you can find out the latest updates from us there. We've, got a gig tonight, got a gig tomorrow, and several things scheduled through October. So awesome. I do have some income. That's nice. I don't. That's not true. I've got a couple gigs booked, but they're not enough to pay the mortgage. And you can also find my music if you just go to Zak Sloan, like on Amazon, iTunes. I'm on Spotify. You can catch me there. All the typical places you can find me. I think
it works.
All right, and before we sign off, since we've given everybody our socials, our websites, all that stuff, we're gonna at the end of this, we're gonna play a song called "Break Free" that you wrote. Can you tell us about "Break Free"?
Yes, I can. So, wrote this tune in the car when the band was on tour up in Twin Cities. And we were all stuck in a traffic jam. And I looked beside us, and there's this woman in her minivan just looking really miserable and kind of relating to, man, I've just felt that sense of being stuck, and stuck in these cycles and circuits that we get ourselves into. And trying to get from one place to another. It's somewhere you don't even want to be. And, so that was the impetus for Break Free.
I think it's a cool song. I also think the bass groove is awesome.
Thank you.
Which is cool. And I love what you just said of rushing or trying to get somewhere you don't even want to be.
Yeah. And we wonder why we get miserable. Like, oh, wait. This isn't me. Right. And so that's the whole point of Break Free is, the me I should be, the me I want to be, the me that I am. Let's just be ourselves.
Well, I can't think of a better song to take us out on. So everybody, this is Break Free, written by Anne Luna.
Another day driving, late arriving to a place that I don't care to be. Nobody knows me, nobody sees me, and nobody's free to do as they please. Break free, for me I should be. Shake me free of misery. I hardly notice the things around me. Just this ache inside me lets me know I'm still here. Wheels still turning, thoughts are churning around something that I can't explain. Break free, the me I should be. Shake me free of misery. Thing with no name haunts me just the same, makes me restless just as it makes me weak. Oh, I need something more to open up any door. If I can't have freedom, tell me, what am I living for? Break free, the me I should be.